Hello, good evening and welcome once again back to the Racing Post studio for another edition of In the Know, brought to you by Coral. My name is Ross Brierley and we are well and truly into the jump season now. And of course the entire jump season is all about Cheltenham. Well, it certainly is this weekend anyway. The November meeting is already well underway with Friday's cards done and dusted. Plenty of talking points there. But we've still got Saturday and Sunday to look forward to. We're here tonight to preview every single race on Saturday and also a look at a couple of the big races on Sunday. Of course, we've got the Paddy Power Gold Cup tomorrow. That's the big betting event. But we'll also be having a look at some potentially classy juvenile hurdlers. We'll also have some novice chasers to get stuck into as well. And then, of course, the Great Wood on Sunday. Another huge betting event there for those 2-mile hurdlers. So there is a lot to like about Cheltenham over the next couple of days. So please like and subscribe to the stream if you're watching at home. This is live and interactive right now on YouTube and Facebook. And get those comments in. As always, we'll try and read as many out as possible. And I've got the chat box right in front of me. So get your tips for Cheltenham this weekend and let us know what you fancy in each and every race on the Saturday. And like I said, the Schleuer Chase and the Great Wood Hurdle we'll also be having a look at on the Sunday. But let's have a look at who we've got on the panel tonight then, because our top tipster to my left, Graeme Rodway, is very much ready and raring to go. He did the classic weekend festival thing, Graeme, of tipping the first winner. And I said, we joked after the race, you should have stopped then. But you're not going to stop. You're going to carry on, and we're going to get a few more winners, isn't that right?
Yeah, very confident. So
that's bringing it in. I'm bringing that confidence in.
Very confident, and hoping that we can get some more winners over the weekend. It was a good start today, Ross.
Yeah.
Art Approval.
Yeah, Art Approval won very nicely indeed.
And what was the horse that won the cross country? Oh, Back on the Lash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Which I presume you've forgotten the name of because you have been.
Well, maybe later.
Yeah, maybe later. Yeah, depends how it goes. But yeah, it was. It's the jump season again. It is centred entirely around Cheltenham in March, but the November meeting we've got good ground, very different to what we're going to experience for the vast majority of the winter. So it's nice to see some horses jumping off decent conditions.
Yeah, I love jumping on good ground. It's like a proper speed test, isn't it? You have to jump well, you have to travel well, and generally I think the best horses win.
Yeah,
I suppose you could say that about most races, though, couldn't you?
There's a debate. There's a debate. Do the best horses generally win? Well, we don't know. Let's see what Tim Segal makes of it. It's amazing, Tom. I've managed to get your surname absolutely bang on for months now, but apparently I can't remember your first name. Tom Segal. I think it's the change of scenery. It's thrown me off, mate.
I was going to say, everyone gets my surname wrong, but only you have managed to get my first name wrong so far, Ross. So well done. Great start.
Thanks ever so much. Yeah, I think I've gone off a bit too quick, haven't I? I've got a right old rattle. But that's the effect Cheltenham has on people, Tom.
Yeah, it was good to see it back, wasn't it? I mean, we had the meeting the other day, didn't we? Which was actually on quicker ground than this, and so I can't quite work out why there's 2 runner races and 4 runner races all over the place. I thought the ground was perfectly good jumping ground today. Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? Fascinating to see the old My Drogo gin on lime fiasco, shall we call it, in the novice chase. But I love those cross country. Everyone hates cross country races. I love them. I think they're some of the best ones ever because I think punters don't like them or professionals don't like them, and therefore they say, oh, we're not bothered with the cross country, so no one really looks at it. I think odds compilers are the same. They don't really look at it, and I think they provide great opportunities. I didn't get it right today. I thought I should have. I thought Henry de Bromhead's horse that came fourth must have lost about 5 lengths at every fence. He absolutely hated it. But he was so well handicapped, he still nearly won. But I love those cross-country. So I was really interested to see that. And obviously the big talking point with My Drogo.
Yeah, absolutely, which we'll get to in a second. But the third member of the panel this evening is, well, he's not at home, actually. He's in a wonderful 5-star hotel. And we go over now to Coral representative David Stevens. David, the plush surroundings, I'm sure.
Good evening, gents. Yeah, this is the best backdrop I could get in. If the Coral shareholders are watching, I can assure you literally every expense spared on this hotel room, so do not worry. 5 stars, not in this hotel. But no, it's lovely to be back at Cheltenham, I have to say, for the first time since last year's festival. Sadly, I wasn't back on the lash, but plenty of punters were on that. And you asked the question, does the best horse always win every race? Well, I think maybe we'd all agree that My Drogo was the best horse in that novice chase. He didn't win that one, but there'll be plenty more days for him, I'm sure. Rachel Blackmore, a little bit of controversy. She got back on board, got Gin on Lime home, of course, but 3 more winners for the Irish. So really, it's a new jump season, but it's same old, same old. The Irish are still coming over here and winning.
Yeah, and I did think that after the 33-1 winner of the Handicap hurdle, I thought, okay, why are we complicating this? Why not just back the Irish horses? But let's go to that 2-runner race. Of course, My Drogo versus Gin on Lime. It was already a bit of a disappointment on paper. Then we had a withdrawal, of course, when we were supposed to have 3 runners. 2 talking points. First off, let's start with My Drogo. Up until that point, there was not too much to worry about. Do you think it was just a case of a bit of rush of the blood to the head? What happened there?
Yeah, I didn't think he was absolutely breathtaking, but he was okay, wasn't he? He was safe enough. He was careful. I thought he did it. Jumped well without being outstanding until that fence, of course. I think he made one mistake, didn't he? Going down the hill, he sort of reached for one, took his back legs through one. But apart from that, he just clipped the top of that. Then he sort of landed a bit steep, didn't he? And so did the second, of course. And amazing from Rachel Blackmore to stay on board. How on earth she managed that? There's nothing that gets past Rachel, is there? She seems capable of anything. Yeah,
pretty much anything you throw at her, she will deal with. Tom, we were just saying to Graeme about that decision for Rachel. Of course, there was a bit of controversy. If it hadn't been a 2-runner race, if My Drogo had kicked on and that had happened, it would have been a very different decision. We were saying. But what did you make of that race?
Well, she never fell off, did she? So I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. I mean, I think your feet have to touch the ground, don't you? I mean, her feet never touch the ground. I mean, I don't understand the rules. I thought it looked perfectly fine watching it on telly. I slightly disagree with Graeme. I thought My Drogo jumped really well. I was really impressed with his jumping because the one in front was jumping all over the place. It was jumping right. It was splattering into fences he wasn't put off at all. And I thought he jumped well for the most part for a first time. And that fence is just ridiculously positioned round that bend. I don't know. They should get rid of it. They should have one fence in the home straight, sort of halfway between them or something. But horses fall there because they just go so slow in those novices chase, and then they sprint round that bend, and it didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He jumped it perfectly, but the ground hit him because he was going so fast. And I was really impressed with him. As for Rachel Blackmore, I don't know the rules, so I can't comment really. But I thought she did everything. I mean, her feet never touched the ground, so why should she have to jump off?
Just a quick word on the likes of My Drogo. I mean, obviously we've got, for example, Bob Ollinger running tomorrow at Punchestown, Tom. But you're going to turn up at Cheltenham again, and the British horses. My Drogo's going to learn how to hack around in a 2-runner race. Bob Ollinger tomorrow is admittedly significantly the best horse in the race, but he is at least facing double-figure fields, and he's probably going to learn a bit more about the game. How is that going to match up when we come to the spring?
Well, I don't know. You say that, but you've seen those Irish novice chases, Ross, and there'll be 2 at the front trying and 14 at the back, which are sort of trying, just getting there for the experience. I don't. They go so slow in those Irish. I mean, if you talk to the jockeys and trainers in Ireland, they say the difference between English and Irish racing is that English racing, they go much faster all the way through, and Irish races, they tot around. So I'm not certain I'm too worried about the field sizes in Ireland. It's just, it just happens, isn't it? There's been so many good horses have fallen at that fence. It's not just My Drogo. There's been proper champion chase horses that have fallen around there. So, it was just one of those things. I thought Dan Skelton had it spot on, and I thought Henry de Bromley had it spot on afterwards when Dan said he thought, 99% happy until that, just didn't get his landing gear out. And Henry de Bromley said Rachel could stay on because she was beaten and she was going half the speed of the other one. So that the momentum wasn't there that's why Gin Online could stay on her feet. That's how I saw it. I didn't think there was any controversy, and I'm glad to see My Drogo's up and about, and we'll see him again in the near future, hopefully, maybe at Newbury on Ladbrokes Trophy Day.
Okay, well, let's crack on then. Before we do, just a reminder that we are having a Racing Post Christmas countdown offer as well. Talking about Cheltenham, you can win an all-expenses-paid trip proper VIP package to the Cheltenham Festival to go to Gold Cup Day in March with helicopter transfers from your 5-star hotel, fine dining in the Chez Roux restaurant, and some of the finer views on the racecourse. And to enter, you just have to place a bet on the Racing Post app at Cheltenham tomorrow.
On a helicopter, Ross?
Sorry?
Been in a helicopter? Have you been in a helicopter?
I have. I've been over the Grand Canyon in a helicopter, yeah. Which
Enjoy it?
It was absolutely terrifying.
Same as me. I've been once and I can't tell you what I did, but it wasn't pleasant for the person sitting next to me.
Well, but if you want to get that 5-star experience, then do place a bet on the Racing Post app and get involved in the Christmas countdown. Unfortunately, it will be Graeme flying the helicopter. But
Yeah, exactly.
As we move on to Cheltenham then and have a look at Saturday's car, starting off with the Triumph trial at 12:30 for the juveniles tomorrow. Magistrato heads the betting here for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden at 15-8 for the first race of the day. Night Salute 9-2, Caramelise 11-2, Adosh 13-2, Mr. Allegro is 9-1, 10-1 Ali Umana and 14-1 bar those. Here as we get a proper look at the youngsters who've thrown down their challenge for the Triumph so far, Graeme. And Paul Nicholls, Harry Cobden teamed up with this favourite at Chepstow, barely broke a sweat winning on that debut for the yard, and unsurprisingly is put in at favourite here. But we were talking off air and you said he might be a little bit short in your eyes.
Yeah, I thought he was short enough. I think he was 5-4, 6-4. He's obviously out to 15-8, 2-1ish now, so he's a bigger price. But he was obviously impressive when he won at Chepstow, but he was a bit green, I thought. He was a bit free in front, wasn't he, and putting his way through the race. And the time isn't fantastic, and he finished the race quite slowly, even though he won it well, in comparison to the following handicap hurdle, albeit that was a Class 2 handicap hurdle, of course, won by Masters Legacy, I think. He was fairly slow in comparison, and I just thought at a short price there were reasons to be against him.
Okay, well he's 15-8, so he's taken a decent chunk out of the market here. We've got quite a few informed yards up against them. Milton Harris in particular, and Stuart Edmonds runs a Dosh, of course. He's 1 from 1 in this race with Wolf of Windlesham a few years ago. What did you like in this opening?
Yeah, I thought it was tough because I thought Milton Harris might win it. He's obviously absolutely flying at the moment, 50-odd% strike rate in recent weeks. So I think that he's got a good chance. But he runs 2, doesn't he? Night Salute. And is it Alio Mana, the other one? And I'm absolutely terrified of backing Night Salute and then seeing Alio Mana come past me. I'll be watching the market, see how they go with regards to each other, close to the off. I still think Night Salute's the most likely of the two. I mean, he was impressive when he won at Kempton. He quickened up quite well to beat Impulsive One, who was Henderson's, well clear of the rest. Third let the form down a little bit. A banger the other day, went off a short price, Painless Potter, and got beat. But I think he's the most likely winner, Night Salute.
Okay. Painless Potter, of course, was beaten by a horse called Saint Segal over at Bangor-on-Dee. So it is over to you, Tom.
I was hoping it was named after me, but unfortunately there's a place in France called Saint Segal, so it wasn't named after me, much to my chagrin. I'm with Rodders. I like Night Salute. Well, a Derby winner out of an Oaks third, was very, very highly regarded when he was with Andrew Balding as a 2-year-old. Completely lost his way, but Milton has got him right back to his best. I was really impressed with him at Kempton. I liked the horse of Henderson's that he beat easily. And the difference between him and the other one, I think he's a strong stayer. He's by Sir Percy out of an Umferwain mess. So he's all about stamina, or he was on the flat. Night Salute. I think he's going to run up the hill really strongly. I'm not sure Ali Omana is, who might actually have the best, well, verging on the best form with the favourite. The favourite's got, Magistrato's obviously could be a different class. He looked really good. He didn't win by 12 lengths, being a skeleton horse that runs again. But I just thought at this track, I agree with Rodders. He was a bit free, Magistrato. He didn't finish as strongly as he looked as though he might do. He's obviously going to come on for the run. But I just thought Night Salute was a really strong stayer. And at this track, if they go a decent pace, I think he'll win.
Okay, there you go. A couple of selections there for Night Salute. David, over to you here for this juvenile hurdle. And Magistrato, a little bit weak. I think he was priced a little bit shorter in the opening exchanges, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah, he has drifted slightly. You can see why he's favourite. He wins by 12 lengths. He's trained by the champion trainer. So he'll be a popular choice tomorrow for plenty of punters. Just a bit of a change to the betting, actually. Night Salute is now into 4-1 and Alamana is out to 16-1. So when it comes to the Milton Harris pair, They're very much speaking in favour of Night Salute now, and so am I. I'm going to make it 3 for 3 for the panel for all the reasons the guys have said. Thought the horse he beat of Nicky Henderson's at Kempton was pretty smart. I was actually there that day to see that. Milton Harris, I say, is flying, as Rodders has said there. And I just thought this was the favourite. As I say, it's no surprise the Paul Nicholls horse is favourite, but we've got to take him on. And we've got to take him on with Night Salute.
Okay, Night Salute then at 9 to 2. Yeah, the Dams are raised to plenty of jumping winners as well. And it's a proper jumping family, but with a bit of flat class mixed in. So Night Salute now nibbled into 4 to 1. Just a quick word, Tom, on Mr. Allegro, who was unfancied on debut, was unfancied after winning last time out as well, and bolted it by 7 lengths there. Is there a potential that the market is ignoring this horse again?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those races, isn't it? We don't know too much about any of them. He is, as you say, he was good at Wincanton. He wasn't a brilliant flat horse, was he? He was rated about 50, whereas I think Night Salute at its best was nearly in the 90s. So he's on his flat form, he's miles behind, but he's done nothing wrong, has he? And he's clearly a miles better hurdler than he was a flat horse. I personally think Night Salute's the one, but I get where you're coming from, for sure.
Okay, so Night Salute?
Night Salute for me, yep.
Night Salute, Tom?
Yeah, Night Salute for me.
David Stevens?
I love to agree with the chaps. Absolutely, Night Salute.
Okay, and I was just being awkward with Mr. Allegro. I also think Night Salute will win. So it's 4 to 1, and it's 4 tips then for Milton Harris, who has a 50% strike rate in the past 2 weeks. Let's hope that can continue this weekend with Night Salute. As we move on to the next, the amateur jockeys handicap chase here, over 3 miles and a furlong. And the market has learned a little bit from what we were saying earlier on about the Irish challengers, because Opposites Attract has been heavily backed into favouritism here. 4 to 1, Strictly a Dancer is 9 to 2, Manila Encore is 6 to 1, 13 to 2 Plan of Attack, 17 to 2 Minds Made Up, and 10 to 1 Fact of the Matter here for this 105 over at Cheltenham. The Irish haven't won this for quite a while, Tom, but. Obviously, over the past couple of seasons, just backing these kind of horses blind has been the way to go. And there's a bit of money around for Opposites Attract. Have you got anything to do with that?
No, nothing to do with me. No, to be honest, this wasn't a race I took an amateur riders. I thought it was quite tricky because Plan of Attack, obviously, that was the horse I was talking about earlier that I thought should have won the cross country. He's in again here. If he's over it, I think he's got a great chance. I think he's incredibly well handicapped. He was 4th in a Kinmure. I thought it would have been his 2nd in the Kinmure last year. He's 3rd in a Paddy Power. He's all off lower marks. This is much better races than these. But can you back him after having run in the cross country? I can't. I liked down the bottom, English horse actually, against the Irish at the top of the weights. Strictly a Dancer, which is something I strictly am not. He was impressive over course and distance last time. Well, when I say impressive, he won over course and distance recently. And I just think he's one of these Christian Williams horses that just gets better and better. You sort of see them on a mark of 100 and they end up being sort of 130 horses. But he's still only rated 115. I think he's better than that. I watched him win at Exeter last year and thought he was probably going to be a 130 type horse. Things sort of went slightly awry at Fakenham afterwards, but it was a good race. Friends Don't Ask won it, and he was 2nd, and Telson Barley, who won loads of those staying handicaps around, was 3rd. So it's good form. I think this will have been, obviously this is the plan after his last run and after his win last time with the claiming jockey on. I think he's gonna go well again. So Strictly a Dancer for me. Ross?
Okay, Strictly a Dancer then here, who is a winner at the track last time out. Beating Fact of the Matter, who also reopposes, a 10 to 1 shot. So got a bit of course form, but we also have Irish Raiders, Graham, which obviously are going to throw a little bit of a spanner in the works if you're backing one of those English handicappers. Are you which side of the sea are you on?
Yeah, it's quite a difficult one, isn't it? Like Tom was saying, I think if you're looking at the race like we were today, with a view to tomorrow, it's quite hard to think about Plan of Attack, knowing that he was running today in the cross country, and the way that he ran in the cross country, as Tom said, he did everything wrong. Didn't appear to like it at all and still finished 4th. Tells you how well he is treated. And I'm not concerned at all by horses coming back the next day. Sometimes I actually think it can do him a favour. Like
it's normally more of a sprinter's job than a staying handicap chase.
It is a bit weird, isn't it? But purely statistically, backing horses who ran the previous day is actually quite good. So I wouldn't be too put off by it, especially in that cross country, because they tend to go slow and slow and slow, and then it's just a sprint up the sort of last final part of it. I just wonder, maybe he didn't have a harder race. I think he's got a good chance Plan of Attack, but having assessed the race without him in it, I've got to stick with the one that I came down on originally, which is Minella Encore, who won at Fakenham last time. He thinks himself, a 4-runner race at Fakenham probably wasn't that good. And it was a weird race because there was a loose horse in the race, and they both turned into the straight. Minella Encore and Larry were fighting out the finish, and the loose horse cut right across them, took Larry out, and almost took Minella Encore out. It was a really weird one. Of course, Larry has since come out and won an Ascot Handicap Chase easily, I think posting an £11 improved performance on Racing Post ratings. And Minella Encore was travelling better than Larry in that race. He eventually went on to win by 24 lengths because Larry was taken out. I just think that he's got more to offer, Minella Encore.
Okay, yeah, and he was sent off favourite. He finished a good second in Novice Earlier last year, didn't he? Behind Streets of Doyen, who went on to place in the Albert Bartlett. So he's got the course form. Yeah,
don't know a lot about the jockey, Luke Scott, but he's been on. He was booked at the 5-day stage by Richard Newland, so he must have been keen to get him on.
Well, he gave a sprinter at Newcastle an absolute cracking ride to win. So
that's a good way to prep for a race like this, isn't
absolutely.
it?
Warm up with a sprint. I mean, we'll get to the Greatwood later on, but I think Owen Walsh is on a horse that I quite fancy. So it is clearly a flat jockey's benefit potentially this weekend. So Minella Encore then a 6-1 shot here for Graeme, and we'll come over to you, David, because this is. We were just saying it's an amateur jockey's handicap chase, 3 miles and a furlong. It's sort of that mid-level quality for some of these horses. But this is a right old move on the top weight.
Yeah, I mean, the whole talk of obviously of how well the Irish do over here, and it causes a lot of angst amongst pundits and professionals over here. I'm convinced that punters don't give a damn where a horse is trained. If they're backing it, they don't care. They just want to back a winner. And this is what happens with these Irish horses at Cheltenham. And they've learnt today 3 winners for them. And yeah, Opposites Attract has been by far the best backed horse in this. And it would be no surprise to see him go and win. Of the others, I thought Plan of Attack is fascinating. If they do choose to go again with him, I'm with Rodders. I wouldn't be put off by that. Today could have been his last bit of work before tomorrow being the target. It'd be interesting. With Henry de Bromhead clearly in great form, and anything he brings over has to be respected. So if Plan of Attack runs, he'd be of interest. But this is one of those races I have to remind myself, bookmakers have to bet on every race, punters don't. And that should be my mentality as a punter, is not to bet on this one. But I should end up backing Forza Milan because he is the Mont de Meige of the jumping world. He's totally exposed. He was 4th in the 4-miler, which isn't a 4-miler anymore. He did have a spin over hurdles that was too short. He doesn't win very often. The ground's going to be too quick for him. But I should end up backing him because at the end of the day, I'm just a very, very bad punter.
I mean, again, if that's not the bit that gets clipped out from this show, David, then I don't know what is. I mean, I've never heard someone.
I felt like therapy. Actually, I think that's done me the world of good.
Yeah, it's a real weight off the shoulder. I think it's the change again. The change of scenery for you guys is really making a difference there. So, okay, so David's just given us 5 reasons why Forza Milan won't win, but we'll still back it at 12-1. Interesting stuff. Jockey's winning a winner though. Excellent record in the
Exactly.
UK.
There's one positive.
There's a positive for you. There's definitely a positive. And the Yards horses are in pretty good nick. They had a couple hit the frame the other day. So a couple of big price selections. Just reiterate, Graeme, your pick?
Minella Encore for me.
There we go. Tom?
Strictly a Dancer, but I had convulsions then because I think I heard him mention that name of that horse that we said we weren't going to mention in the preview. I think he mentioned it. Get him off, Stevens.
We've done it. Anthony Britton is he should be sponsoring this show, shouldn't he? But okay, let's move on then to Cheltenham for the 140 here at the Novices Chase over a little shy of 2 miles. And Dan Skelton and Harry Skelton with an odds-on shot here over fences in a Novice Chase. In a small field, so there's a little bit of echoes of this afternoon. Hopefully, things will go a little bit more to plan in the home straight, though, for Third Time Lucky, who is 2-5 here. Mick Pastor 5-1, Captain Tomcat is 10-1, Sebastopol is 11-1, outsider of the 4. Graeme, to you first about Third Time Lucky, who bolted up here last time out, and his form's been franked. He was a classy hurdler. He jumped really well on his debut. There are some similarities, obviously, to My Drogo, but this horse looks it's going to be very hard to beat tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he'll probably win this race because I don't think it's a great race. It's a Grade 2 race, but I mean, Mick Pastor and Captain Tomcat fought out a similar finish last week, didn't they, at Wincanton, where Brave Man's Game didn't turn up. A couple of other big guns didn't turn up, and it was probably one of the weaker Grade 2s of the season. And they're his two main dangers. Obviously, Mick Pastor will probably beat Captain Tomcat over this trip. I think Mick Pastor's better suited by 2 miles. Third Time Lucky will just win, you would have thought. I'm not sure that he is Arkle material just yet. I reckon he's... I had it in the back of my mind that he might end up going off favourite for the Grand Annual.
Well, they won this with North Hill Harvey, who did go off, I think, second favourite for the Grand Annual and looked like he was going to win at one point before coming down. So yeah, you get the feeling let's get this horse bomb-proof, get that handicap mark, and potentially skip the Arkle altogether.
Yeah, that's where I think he is. I think he's like just below maybe Grade 2, Grade 3 horse. I don't have him as a Grade 1 horse, but he'd be good enough to win this race, you would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Third Time Lucky then was very impressive first time. Tom over fences. Did you like that performance? And are there any dangers tomorrow? I mean, we should always, especially at odds on, be looking for things that can go wrong.
Loved it, Ross. I thought he was superb, and I disagree. I think he's undoubtedly Grade 1 class. I thought if you go back even to his bumper form, he was 4th in the Cheltenham bumper. He had a bit of a bad run. He was only 5 lengths behind Fernie Hollow and Appreciate It. Could have finished a couple of lengths closer. He was a top hurdler, but if you speak to Dan Skelton about him, he'll tell you you took him to Uttoxeter at the start of the season on really heavy ground, and it sort of took the edge off him. He said he never had him right afterwards. I think he's top class. And obviously, we saw what happened with My Drogo today, but I have no doubts he'll end up in the Arkle. There's no way he'll be running in the Grand Angel. He's a lot better than that.
Okay. So are there any dangers then tomorrow? Is there anything we need to
look, the fences are the dangers. Just getting round's the danger. If he jumps round, he'll win this easily. He's miles better than these. Also getting a bit of weight from Captain Tomcat, who jumps very well, but probably is better over further, as Rodder says. Mick Pastor's just not the same class, and Sebastopol, is the outsider of the lot. So, look, like My Drogo, if he jumps round, he'll win. But I'm massively in his fan. I did my 10 to follow yesterday, and he was one of the first names on the list.
Okay, great. There we go. Third Time Lucky then, definitely Grade 1 according to Tom. Let us know what you think on the chat box as well. Chalk Weasel says, after Shan Blue and My Drogo, let's hope it is Third Time Lucky for Harry Skelton. Of course,
good.
It has been, so that's beautifully done there, Chalk Weasel. Lovely little assist. Thanks very much. I'll get in touch so maybe you can write my script for the next week's show. But let us know if you think Third Time Lucky is a Grand Annual horse or an Arkle horse. David Stevens, what do you think?
I'm very much with Tom on this. I think he's an Arkle horse. He's 10 to 1 for the Racing Post Arkle already. As Tom alluded to, if he jumps around tomorrow, he wins here. But I suppose that is the question. And perhaps a few seeded out after what we saw with My Drogo. There is, of course, a bit of insurance with Coral through the jump season. On our fail to finish offer, if your selection fails to finish for any reason, you get a free bet back up to the value of £10. So obviously, if you back My Drogo, you got that. But hopefully it won't happen with Third Time Lucky because, I think he's a class act. And I mentioned, obviously, punters don't care where horses are trained, but it would be good to have some home representation when it comes to the big Group 1s at next spring's festival. And I certainly think Third Time Lucky is in that class.
Okay, Third Time Lucky then. A slight bit of disagreement. Of course, I mean, the thing with the Skeltons is even if it is in that class, they just love a handicap winner so much that they might it might be 9 to 2 second favourite the Arkle, and they'll still go for the Grand Annual.
Well, I suspect Appreciate will just turn up for the Arkle and that'll be that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, and a couple of people at home. Helen Sheridan says, I think the Skelton's going to be seriously disappointed if Third Time Lucky ends up in a Grand Annual. And Tom Leach says, Mr. Tomcat, or Captain Tomcat, without the favourite is the bet. But a pretty unanimous decision there with Third Time Lucky. Tom, would you back him at the price for the Arkle right now?
I have. I backed him at 16 to 1. Yeah, straight after he won the other day. Yeah, I've got a few quid on him at the Arkle for the Arkle.
Okay. Fair enough. There you go. Third Time Lucky then. 2 to 5 for the Novices Chase at Cheltenham on Saturday. David, just remind us what price he is again for the Arkle.
He's currently 10 to 1. 3 Irish horses ahead of him in the betting.
Okay, fantastic stuff. There we go. We will move on fairly quickly. Apologies to Sebastopol, Mick Pastor and Captain Tomcat, but we've got a lot of races to preview at Cheltenham this weekend. And we have the feature, of course, of Saturday afternoon, the Paddy Power Gold Cup Handicap Chase. 2.5 miles is the distance, and a really, really good field here of 20 runners, a maximum field, and some classy animals indeed at the top of the betting, including Laylaw on its first start for Paul Nichols at 9 to 2. Protect Protectorat returns after a successful season last year for the Skeletons at 6-1. Al Dancer at 13-2. Zanza is 9-1 here. Galahad Quest 11-1. Midnight Shadow 12s 14-1. Dostal Phil. And then 16-1. Bar those, this is an excellent lineup for this year's renewal, and a real intrigue about those first three in the betting, Tom, here. And of course, this is a handicap, but your Al Dancers, your Protectorats, and your Laylaw, correct me if I'm wrong, but all three of them have gone off either favourite or second favourite for Grade 1s in the past. So we've got some real class, and there's a bit of a line of quality, isn't there? The horses who've been plying their trade in handicaps and those who are potentially a little bit better than this grade.
Yeah, I mean, well, we know that Laylaw's won a Grade 1, hasn't he? And so has Protectorat. Al Dancer's won a Betfair Hurdle and was favourite for an Arkle, was he? I can't remember, but he was up there. So we know that they are top class horses. If a well-known lager brand did handicap chases, I think this would be it, because I think it is the most difficult, most competitive handicap chase I've seen in many a year, and I include all those Cheltenham races that we have I think Racing Post ratings have, I think, £8-9 between the whole field. I really went through the field here, and I fancied everything. I nearly fancied everything in the race. I thought it was really, really hard. As you say, there's class at the top, but those ones down the bottom, there's loads of them that are well handicapped or could be well handicapped. There's plenty that jump well. There's plenty that will travel well. It's a real head scratcher. Pays your money, you takes your chance on this one. I think it's all going to depend about who jumps the best, Ross.
Okay, we'll come back to you for your selection in a second, Tom. But Graeme, with a race like this, obviously it's clearly a feature race. It's clearly a target race for a lot of trainers. Do you have a set way of analysing these big handicaps, or do you just look at what's running and pick out the value?
Yeah, I don't really know. It's just one of those things, isn't it?
Curveball for you there, yeah.
You just sort of do it, don't you? You just.
Well, there's some races where I will look at it and I go, I know what kind of horse I'm after.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think this. Like Tom says, this is a different kind of race to the sort of races that we've had recently. Like, it's a lot better, and I don't think I've ever seen so many people tip so many different horses. We were on a feature yesterday with 5 different tipsters, and they all came up with a different horse. Then 2 more came up with a different horse. I mean, you literally can make a case for anything in the race, even one of the ones at the big prices. So it's absolutely wide open, but it is a fantastic race, isn't it? I mean, there's just quality everywhere you look.
There is. I'll come to you for your main selection then here, because I want you to get the name out, and then I want Tom to react to the name. So
don't dare say Mondamedge.
But there's some real classy horses in here. There's also some that we might have followed off cliffs.
Yeah, well, Zanza is no doubt.
There we go. That's the reaction I was anticipating.
Did he fall off the couch? I think he did.
I think he did.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of these horses you could reel off the excuses for him, and I'm going to. You know, I mean, he obviously was second to Al Mankind, then he won at Newbury, and then everything went wrong, didn't he? But he fell behind Sky Pirate. He was going at least as well as him. Probably wouldn't have beaten him, but he would have gone close over 2 miles here. He was pulled up behind Sky Pirate in the Grand Annual, but some horse fell in front of him, and then he got badly hampered and lost all chance, so they pulled him up. Then he was sick for Aintree, and another horse fell in front of him. The jockey lost his irons at the last.
I mean,
he sort of
held a bit, jumped right, pushed along, ridden, plenty to do. Keeping on when badly hampered by fall, the jockey lost irons at last, stayed on, not recover.
Well, you couldn't make it up, could you, after what had happened to him previously, falling and pulled up in the Grand Annual, horses falling in front of him. He reminds me a little bit of Redemption. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
And he used to turn up in this race, and you always thought, he'd win this, and then he'd fall at that fence just at the third last. I don't think it's even there anymore, is it? They moved it around the corner. But last time out, it was first time up, obviously, against Eldorado, Allen and Hitman in the Alden Gold Cup, and I thought he shaped very well. He stayed on strongly. He definitely is going to improve for the step up to 2.5 miles.
Well, that's it. So he's won over hurdles over 2 miles and 3.5 furlongs, I think it is. But with a horse like Zanzi, when he is getting into scrapes and everything's going wrong for him, you do think maybe a step up in tripper, not a steadier pace necessarily, but those 2 mile handicap chases are brutal at times, aren't they?
They are, yeah. He definitely wants 2.5.
Yeah.
You know, he might even get 3 around Kempton or somewhere. He will definitely stay this trip, I think, and he'll definitely improve for it. He likes good ground. He likes a fast pace, but. Yeah, I mean, you can make a case for loads of them. I thought Layla was the likely winner, but I mean, he's favourite at the moment, so I was keen to go against him at the prices.
Okay, and Zanza is a 9-1 shot then for the Philip Hobbs stable, who also have my own personal Zanza is Dostal Phil, who absolutely, that Newbury win. I mean, if you talk about watching replays, watch that back in January last year, and I have no idea how he won that. And I thought, my word, this horse could be a graded animal, and everything's gone wrong for him since. So we've all got those type of horses in these types of races. Tom, I assume that the way you reacted to Graham's selection, that Zanza ain't on your shortlist.
I've fallen for Zanza more than Keels has fallen for Mondamedge. He just doesn't do it in big fields, Rodders. He's just a complete klutz, and he'll make a mistake at the wrong time, and something will go wrong. It always does. And I don't think he's very well handicapped either. You know, they might say he's £4 well in, but he's up to 140. He's been beaten loads of times off lower marks. You can make excuses all you like. He wasn't going to win. He was well behind in the Aintree race. He was well behind at Cheltenham. He wasn't jumping well. He's not for me. He was, in fact, at the prices. He was the one I crossed off. Now that normally is a good. That's normally a good way of finding the winner, because when that happens, when you find a race that you don't actually fancy one, I often find that they go in. So I wouldn't put anyone off. If you back Zanza, don't worry what I'm saying. But I like Layla. He's got even worse form figures. PP. I just don't think he's a classy horse. Always has been. Grade 1 winning hurdler. Grade 2 winning bumper horse. Loads of good form in proper handicaps. Nothing against the Woolacotts at all. They did a great job with him as a young horse. But if you're telling me that the greatest trainer of chasers ever, Paul Nicholls, can't improve Layla, I'll give up the game. He's had a wind operation. I know he's been working with the best horses in the yard. He worked with Frodon, and he worked better than him. He's worked with Politolog. He just could be the horse that blows the race apart. So I always like siding with one of them. So Layla I don't think I can bet in the race without Layla, but I could go through everything in the race, giving it a chance. Actually, Protectorat, obviously. ASO's got Cheltenham Festival form. Simply the Bet's a Cheltenham winner. Paint the Dream, I think, is going to run really well. Midnight Shadow. In the end, I thought 2 down the bottom, Belagus and Up the Straight for Dave's neck of the woods. For the Sussex Mafia, Richard Rowe and Nick Gifford would run well. I ended up having a little bit on both of them, but more on Up the Straight. I just think he's been crying out for 2.5 miles on good ground. He came to win a race at Sandown last year, jumped in front of Farinet, who runs the Wen tomorrow, and Belagus, who fell in the race. And he just fell in a hole in the heavy ground up the hill. I think if you look back to his hurdles form, he's got some very good hurdles form on good ground. And he hasn't really had it. And I just thought after a Plumpton win where he jumped brilliantly, he was a really, really good jumper up the straight. He's got a £5 claimer who I think is very decent value, Tabitha Worsley, for her claim. And I just thought he'd run well, as might Belaga. So I do think Laylaw's the one. But for those looking for ones at bigger price, I'm going to go to Mr. David Stevens' home county and say that Richard Rowe and Nick Gifford up the straight. And Belagus will run well at 33-1.
Okay, live reaction then from Sussex representative David Stevens, those two picks.
Not just Sussex, Findon. Both horses trained obviously down on the downs of Findon. Listen, first thing to say is it would be fantastic if either Belagus or Up the Straight won for Nick or Richard Rowe. Even better if they fought out the finish for a 1-2 for Findon. That would be some story. Look, you've said it all. This is a really classy race, and you wouldn't be surprised if either Layla or Protector Aldanta went out and one of the three at the head of the betting. I'd probably go with Protectorat, although the market has spoken in favour of Layla this week. They were 5-1 joints at the start of the week. It's now 9-2, 6-1. So they've gone for the Paul Nicholls horse. You mentioned Paint the Dream there, Tom. Beat obviously Man of the Mountain at Chepstow. And I think at 20-1, Paint the Dream for Fergal O'Brien, another man whose horse is in flying form at the moment. It's that sort of race. I think you want a couple of goes. Maybe one at the head of the betting, maybe one at a bigger price. So Paint the Dream and Protectorat would be the two for me here. But if you fancy the two market leaders, if you fancy the master Paul Nicholls and his one-time apprentice, Dan Skelton, of course, this is our first price boost of the night. It was 11-8 that one of that pair trains the winner. That's now out to 2-1. So you've got some mighty horses running for you in that one.
Okay, there we go. 2-1 from 11-8, Nicholls or Skelton to train the winner of the Paddy Power Gold Cup. And I'm glad you mentioned Protectorat, David, because I genuinely couldn't believe that we got through Graham and Tom's selections and thoughts in this race and we didn't mention Protectorat. I mean, that Aintree form beating the Shunter, Hitman, Eldorado Allen and Fusel Raffles is absolutely bomb-proof form. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I thought this horse might be a live outsider for a King George. So If I've got half fancied him for that, I think he's got a cracking chance. He's a winner over course and distance at this meeting last year. Slightly concerned about the big field. He tends to win in those smaller fields, and he's obviously got a few quirks, but I thought Protectorat would be a strong favourite for this, and I'm a little bit surprised that he's drifted out.
Yeah, no, I think he's got a huge chance, hasn't he? Obviously, he's Grade 1 horse coming into a handicap, and he will have been absolutely primed for it by Dan Skelton. But again, I just looked at the prices and preferred Zanza. But it's that sort of race. Nothing would surprise me.
Yeah. Nothing. Well, I mean, after the two in a race today,
nothing would definitely surprise me after that, especially after Rachel Blackmore sitting on that horse. I don't know how she managed that.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising in and of itself. Okay, the Paddy Power Gold Cup Handicap Chase. Let's get a few selections at home before we round up those picks. We've got a few. What have we got here? I can't find them now. They've gone into all sorts of debates here. Wouldn't back Laylaw at any price, says Chalk Weasel. Helen Sheridan says, I wonder if Nietzsche's going to be in the mood as well. Zanza, too many excuses, says Mark Smith, but Tom Leach says it was very eye-catching. Al Dancer for Darren Walker. Man of the Mountain each way then for Ben K88. Hugh Masson thinks Al Dancer is, well, it's not being very kind, put it that way. And Spirit of the Games and Simply the Bets each way for me for Mark Smith as well. So I think that's pretty much every horse in this race, apart from probably Galahad Quest mentioned. So that's him thrown in for good measure as well. So let's round up those selections. Graeme, what's the pick?
Zanza.
Zanza it is. Tom?
Layla and Up the Straight are the ones I've backed.
Okay, very well. And I will stick with Protectorat for the big race. David Stevens?
Protectorat and Paint the Dream. My two here, Ross?
Okay, lovely stuff then, and that's pretty much everything covered in tomorrow's feature handicap. As we move on then for a handicap hurdle here over just shy of 3 miles, we've got another Dan Skelton horse here at the top of the betting, and it is Proskema who heads it at 11-4. Dragon Bone 7-2, Ballymilsey is 5-1, On a Gathering Storm 13-2, Sporting John 15-2, Kansas City Chief 10s, and 16-1 bar those then for this 3 mile handicap hurdle. And again, plenty of interesting stories and angles here. Sporting John, a horse who's a very classy individual. Of course, over fences didn't work out last season. He's back over hurdles. Proskema stepping up in trip last time out at Weatherby, potentially unlocking a bit of potential. I think the likes of Ballymilsey is in fantastic form. Dragon Bones barely runs a bad race. Again, Tom, this is another contest where there's quite a few in with a chance. What is the pick for you, though, here for this 3 mile?
Pick for me, Ross, like you alluded to, it's not a race that I have much confidence in. I thought Proskema was the obvious one, but the market says it. Thought Sporting John was interesting earlier in the week at a double-figure price. He's been backed recently. He's had a wind up, and if he's a Grade 1 winner, back in a handicap hurdle off the mark of 146, so I can see him go well. I actually thought the value lied with the one that won here the other week, Kansas City Chief. Bit of an American football fan myself. I'm not a Kansas City fan, but I thought he was really impressive the other day. He's only £5 higher. He got on very well with Victoria. I'm going to call her Victoria because I can't pronounce the surname. And I think the good ground will suit him again. And he pulled too hard last time and still won. So I just thought at 10-1, he was a cracking each way shout because you know what you're going to get. There's a lot of ifs and buts about a few of the others. Proskema, is he really going to stay 3 miles up the Cheltenham Hill? Don't know. Looks like he would, but I'm not sure. Is Sporting John going to act on the ground? Ballymilsey, I think, is very solid. But for me, Kansas City Chief each way.
Okay, Kansas City Chief then, the 12-year-old here at 10-1 for Tom. Are you with the old boy, the horse that is, not Tom?
Well, Kansas City Chief. I thought he won well last time, and I thought if you looked at the race and just ignored the improvers, he had a chance. But I don't think you can ignore the improvers. I think the improver in the race is Dragon Bones.
Okay.
First Assignment won the race for Ian Williams, same connections in 2018, I think it was, and they ran that horse at the October meeting at Cheltenham, and it won there. And then they came here, short price, and won here. Dragon Bones also ran at the October meeting, but in the novice race over 3 miles, were beaten by Bardenstown Lad. But thought he was a bit unlucky that day. Probably should have beaten Bardenstown Lad. He's just unexposed, lightly raced, so she is, and I think that she's well handicapped. 132. I think that she's better than that.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like she's barely started her career. I mean, she ran a bumper in October 2019, but it was January, because she's had quite the season. They ran her in bumpers, then they ran her in every possible hurdle going, and I thought that run at Cheltenham the other day, I thought surely this is biting off a little bit more than she can chew, but she ran a blinder behind one of those classic McConnell grinders.
Yeah, she likes good ground, don't she, as well, and I just think that this sort of race will be fine for her. You know, like you say, she's a novice, but she's still quite hardy, isn't she? She's had lots of experience, and I just think she's got a bit in hand of her mark there.
Yeah, she never runs a bad race either. Quick word on Sporting John, Tom. Obviously a hugely talented but hugely quirky, but that goes for a lot of the Philip Hobbs horses, as we've just covered in the previous race.
Yeah, good, great. I mean, as you say, beat Chambleur, didn't he, in the Grade 1 at Sandown last year? Proper top-class horse. Do think he likes soft ground. That would be my worry for him. I don't think the ground was too bad today. I think he'll probably be good to soft tomorrow, but I think he'd be better on soft ground. I think 3 miles will suit him really well. He is the class horse without a shadow of a doubt. And if there's money for him tomorrow, I think it would be significant.
Okay, but your pick, Tom?
Well, it's not really a pick, but I thought Kansas City Chief had a good chance of hitting the frame again if he's in the same form he was last time.
Okay, and Graeme?
Yeah, I'm with Dragon Bones.
Dragon Bones it is. David Stevens, tell us how they've gone in the market and what you made of this race as well.
Yeah, Dragon Bones very, very popular. 5-1 into 7-2, and I can see why I'm with Rodders on that one. But I'm also everything you've said about Sporting John. I'm just kind of a couple of quid because he's still in the enigma category rather than the complete old rogue category. So we've got to give him a couple more chances. 3 miles over hurdles. He's fascinating, isn't he? I'd say that form over fences, beating Chambleur is top class. So be interesting to see. Philip Hobbs' horse is running better this season as well. So they're the two for me, Dragon Bones and a couple of quid saver on Sporting John.
Okay, very well then. Here, a couple of picks. Dragon Bones each way, says Tom Leach. He's on at 5-1, so he might have something to do with that move into 7-2. And Chalk Weasel says Sporting John is probably better in small fields, but still quite a few people fancy Sporting John. Then a 15-2 shot for what it's worth. I agree with Dragon Bones with my honourable friend to my left here. I think she could be very well handicapped on her best and could have more to offer with such a short career to date. Moving on then to another handicap hurdle here. The 325 at Cheltenham is an intermediate handicap hurdle, which means we've got a few horses who could have a little bit more up their sleeve off this mark. An Unexpected Party definitely falls into that category. Another well-fancied Dan Skelton runner is a 3-1 shot. Mackleduff 7-2. Good Time Johnny 6-1. Gamble Road is 8-1. Benson 9-1. 12-1 Pyramid Place. 14-1 Breffney Boy. 16-1 Severance. And bigger prices the rest then here for this 12-runner contest. And we could have a couple of interesting horses here. Won by Cool Cody back in 2017. So we could see a future Paddy Power Gold Cup winner in this race. But this looks open, Graeme. It looks very interesting indeed. But I'm starting to look at the markets tomorrow, and it's Skelton pretty much for every single race. They've clearly targeted this 3-day meeting, and they've got another huge chance.
Yeah, they didn't have much luck today, did they?
No, that is true.
They'll be
you can target all you like, but they're still going to win.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit of luck, haven't you? But I thought the bet of the day ran here. Ross, Unexpected Party for Skelton's, who is obviously the favourite here. But last time out, Weatherby, yeah, I mean, massively impressive. Was obviously absolutely thrown in, was running off a mark of 109 in was probably quite a weak race, but the time is fairly solid, for the grade. And absolutely bolted up. The last two, 3 fences was hard on the bridle and just came clear without even really being asked, and ran the last, I think, 3 or 4 furlongs really fast for the grade. So I think that you're looking at a horse that's far, far better than a handicap hurdler. I think you possibly might even be looking at horse that might end up in graded novice hurdles come the end of the season, running off a mark of 120. Absolutely thrown in. A Mackleduff, like the other one at the top of the market. Now that horse was run on the same day as the horse that got beat today, Gelino Bello at Aintree, and Gelino Bello absolutely thrashed that from the third or fourth last at Aintree that day. And again, that was a slow time, Mackleduff. So I'm dead against Mackleduff. I just think Unexpected Party's different gravy here.
Okay, Unexpected Party then, who bolted up, stepped up in trip at Wetherby last time out. Different gravy, says Graeme Rodway. Are you in agreement, Tom, or do you prefer another topping for your chips?
Definitely don't. No, gravy's my thing, Ross, for sure.
Okay. I thought you were a southerner,
Likes
Tom.
a bit of gravy.
Yeah.
Not a ketchup man at all. Yuck. Yeah, I agree with Rodders. I think Unexpected Party is undoubtedly the most interesting horse in the race by far. When I did it, he was, as I say, it's 3-1 shot. I think that's about right. I think he might start 5-2, but he's about right for me in the market, because there are plenty of others in there. You are, I mean, it was only a Wetherby race, after which Dan Skelton said this was a terrible race. Now, he might have been saying it was a terrible race because he knew he had something special on his hands, which is what they often do. And if that's the case, he'll probably win. But I thought the Irish horse in here, funnily enough, Good Time Johnny, something that's never been said of me, had a very, very decent chance. He was 8th or 9th in the Champion Bumper, the Fernie Hill one I was talking about earlier with I Appreciate It and Third Time Lucky. He stayed on well that day. He's had 3 goes at 2.5 miles. He fell on the first one. He was unlucky not to at least finish second in a race that's worked out very well at Listowel next time. And then he act up at Gowran Park last time. He is a very strong stayer. If he's in the within hailing distance of any of them, jumping the last, he's got a very good chance. I think for me, and I see he's been back now. He was 10-1. He was 10-1 when this. When I started looking at this race. He's now into 6s. I think he's got a good chance. Good Time Johnny. I very, very much am scared of Unexpected Party, but I do think there is some dangers in there. Good Time Johnny would be the top of the list, and he's the one for me.
Yeah, and the Tony Martin horse is in pretty good nick as well. They landed a touch at Dundalk the other night with Acklark, and they're clearly in pretty good heart. And I agree with you, Tom. I think it's that third, that run for Oscar, Wolf Prince. You know, they're 140 plus horses, aren't they? And the fact that the Good Time Johnny could kind of lay a glove on those. Obviously, it was Handicap Company, but he looks like he's got more to offer for me.
Yeah, he's a strong stayer too, isn't he, Ross? And that form's really good. He should have been second that day. That was his first real run at 2.5 miles because he fell the time before, and then he was backed off the boards to win at Gowran last time. I think he started 11-8 or 6-4 in a handicap, and he won on the bridle, and he was really strong at the finish again. I just think if he's there with Unexpected Party at the last, I think Good Time Johnny will be stronger up the hill. It's whether he can get to the last with him is the concern. But as I say, he did finish 8th or 9th in the Champion Bumper, so he's not slow.
Okay, Good Time Johnny then, a 6-1 shot. There's also another Irish horse who's drifted out a little bit. Capilano Bridge was a lot shorter, David. That's a big drifter for Conor O'Dwyer. So one positive for an Irish runner, one negative. But it's another Skelton runner at the top of the bedding.
Yeah, Capilano Bridge is out to 16-1. You're right, that has gone the wrong way in the market. Unlike Good Time Johnny, and I'm in the Good Time Johnny camp. You can see why he'll love the good ground as well. He's not one of those Irish horses that wants it really deep winter ground. I thought the top weight Benson was interesting. He was 3 from 3 and then went to the Betfair Hurdle. I think was sent off favourite or joint favourite that day, but was only 4th. He's had a wind up since. This is up in trip. And Richard Newland, a man I think can always be respected here. So Good Time Johnny and the top weight Benson for me. Unexpected Party, up £11. He's going to have to be a bit of a superstar to overcome that rise. And at the prices, I think this is one favourite that I'd be happy to take on.
Okay, 3-1 Unexpected Party. David's taking that one on. Benson for a few people at home as well. I think I know a couple of people who actually backed that as an outsider in the Supreme last year after it absolutely came from God knows where, didn't it, at Ascot behind Not So Sleepy. So the step up in trip, in theory, should suit Benson here for this 325. Okay, selections, Graeme?
Unexpected Party.
Unexpected Party.
I'm going to have one if he wins.
I keep expecting you to pull out streamers and bottles of champagne each time you mention that. Tom?
Good Time Johnny for me, Ross.
Okay, Good Time Johnny for me as well. And David Stevens?
Third vote for Good Time Johnny with a very small saver on Benson.
Lovely stuff. There we go. That's the handicap hurdle then at 3.25. Before we crack on to Sunday, let's just have a quick look at the bumper, the mare's listed bumper that closes out the card. It's a wide open betting heat. Bonte 5-1, Lady Excalibur 6s, Mayhem Maya 6-1 as well, with Leading Theatre and 7-1 Bar. Those really tough race. I want to get onto those Sunday cards. Just a quick shout out for Graeme or Tom. Anything to mention here in the bumper?
Yeah, I'm going to shake my Bonte in the last. Ross, I think she has got a good chance.
Okay, you're a good time, Johnny, shaking your Bonte. Lovely stuff. Graeme?
Yeah, I think Bonte is the most likely winner, but got to give a shout out for the Harry Fry runner because he does really well with mares. So I can't remember what that's called now. It's called
Whiskey Express.
Yeah, Whiskey Express. But no, I think Bonte is the most likely winner. Won well there last time.
Okay, and Fergal O'Brien also has Leading Theatre, who absolutely bolted up in a very strong time, carrying a penalty last time out, so that'd have a chance. David, quick, any angles in from the market for this race?
Yeah, notoriously tricky race. We're going 4 places each way, the guys have said to say in this hard race, but I just give a shout out to Fire Lake, a 16-1 shot. Again, for informed Milton Harris, we mentioned him earlier, and the very shrewd operators at Midland Park have acquired this one from Milton Harris, so Fire Lake in this finale.
Okay, thank you very much, David. Right, that's Saturday pretty much done and dusted. Then let's rattle over to Sunday. We've got another card at Cheltenham, of course, and generally quite small fields apart from the Greatwood, which, as ever, we were saying about the Paddy Power being a tough race. The Greatwood looks an absolute stonker as well this season, which I think is the technical term. Cheltenham, the 220 first, though, we're going to look at the Schleuer Chase. Grade 2 contest here, and last year's winner Put the Kettle On. Of course, an absolute Cheltenham superstar, unbeaten at the track, returns once again at 13-8. Nube Negra at 7-4, trying to get revenge after that Champion Chase run. 4-1 Politologue and Rouge Vif at 11-2. Put the Kettle On and Nube Negra going head-to-head once again. Graeme, who comes out on top on Sunday?
Well, obviously Nube Negra should have won the Champion Chase. Probably the most unlucky loser of the whole festival, but I'm not convinced he'll beat Put the Kettle On because this could be tactical, couldn't it? And I think he wants a good pace to run at, which he may not have got at Cheltenham either. I could just see Politologue at the prices. Politologue probably 4-1. He'll be
dominated from the front.
He'll be bang up for this, won't he? Nichols will have looked at the calendar and gone, well, we can't win the Tingle Creek because she's going to probably win that. We probably can't win any of the other big races, but this one, yeah, we might win that. So I expect, Politologue to be bang on here, and he might just make all. But yeah, the most exciting horse for the future is Nube Negra, and we all know how good Put the Kettle On is around there. It's a great race, isn't it? Yeah,
potentially, yeah. But I see what you mean. Politologue, this could be his Champion Chase.
I think it is.
Yeah, okay. Politologue then, the overpriced one for Graeme. Tom?
Well, I'm glad Graeme said that Nube Negra was the unluckiest horse at the Cheltenham Festival, because that's exactly what I thought. And having had a very large bet on him, I was gutted that he didn't win the Champion Chase last year. Look, I think he's more talented than Put the Kettle On, but Put the Kettle On is tougher, more solid, more robust. She likes the track. She doesn't do anything wrong. I'd give Rouge Vif a chance too on the form that he showed when he won here last year on his debut as well. I think it's a fascinating race despite only 4 runners. I get the Politologue angle. I do think there'll be a pace because I think Politologue and Put the Kettle On like to go off, as does Rouge Vif actually. He's not going to be far behind. So don't think it'll be a muddling pace for Nube Negra. I hope he wins because he deserves to win. I thought he was brilliant at Kempton and he was really unlucky in the Champion Chase, and he deserves a big one. So I'm in the Nube Negra camp.
Okay, the Nube Negra camp then David. Again, these Skeleton Chasers really are amassing, aren't they? If they stand up, they could end up with dominating these contests over the next couple of years. Put the Kettle On, Nube Negra, Politologue, Rouge Vif. Which one of the 4 for you?
Yeah, I mean, first thing to say is it's a classic example of you don't need a big field to have a fascinating competitive race, because this is everything that you'd want from a race. 2 ex-champion chasers in it. Put the Kettles On Cheltenham record is extraordinary. She just somehow keeps on winning here. But Nube Negra was so unlucky last time. Politologue, I agree with Graeme, this could be his race. This is my way of saying I haven't got a clue. It's a wonderful race to watch and enjoy. And I should probably end up putting Put the Kettle On just because of her Cheltenham record.
Yeah, she is absolutely fantastic around here. Every time she looks like she's going to get swamped, but she manages to find a way to win. That's what separates the greats from the just very good. Put the Kettle On then 13-8 favourite here for the Schleuer Chase. But Politologue for you, Graeme?
I'm with Politologue, yeah.
Okay, and Tom?
Nube Negra for me.
Okay, I'll stick with Put the Kettle On. She's done me plenty of good turns. It would be foolish to abandon her now. And David?
I feel I should back Rouge Vif to give us a clean sweep, but I'm going to go for put the kettle on as well.
Okay, well, let's wrap the show up then with a quick look at the Greatwood, which, I mean, we could do a whole hour show on the Greatwood, so let's try and fit this into 2 minutes, shall we? No Ordinary Joe is 6-1 joint favourite, in fact, with West Cork, 8-1 Advance Virgo and Campron, 10-1 Glory and Fortune and Jesse Evans, 11-1 Adagio, 12-1 Cormier, Bua Boy for Dennis Hogan's got a chance as well, Botox Hag, Gallis McCarlo has some good form, the old boy Bally Andy. Again, I was going through, Tom, the sort of historical levels, speed figure-wise, of what it takes to win this race and thinking how many horses in here have hit that level, and I think pretty much everyone apart from the complete outsider Mount Windsor. So this, again, is an absolutely cracking renewal. I understand. Yeah. Have you dug into this yet? Have you picked out your selection?
I've got to do it for the paper and the website tomorrow, so I haven't done it. I mean, I did have a few quid on Cormier. I did a piece for the Weekender a few weeks ago, or for the Trackers thing that we do for the Racing Post, and I thought Cormier was the right type of horse for this race. He's very similar to Nietzsche, who won it for Brian Ellison a few years ago. I didn't really like the top of the market. I thought No Ordinary Joe had a bit to prove. West Cork has got even more to prove. So I was sort of looking for against those. I see Advance Virgo's been back. That's not surprising. Charles Burns, he had a winner earlier yet today, didn't he? He had a winner at Cheltenham today, and Advance Virgo ran very well in a sort of proper Leopardstown handicap last time, sort of his best ever flat run. So I could see him going well. But there's loads you could make a case for. The one I backed anti-post was Cormier. I still hope he runs well. I think the good ground will suit him. And he won at York earlier in the season, and he's down the bottom of the weight. So he was the one for me at the earliest stage. I will no doubt find something else once I've spent 14 hours looking at it from now until tomorrow afternoon.
Lovely stuff. Okay, there we go. Cormier, the anti-post pick then for Tom. I've gone for Jesse Evans here. I think that fourth is Soldier, Milkwood, Cape Gentleman with Burning Victory and an Embittered, well-beaten, Belfast Banter, well-beaten. I think that's absolutely fantastic form, and the conditions should be perfect for Noel Weed's charge. Graeme, what wins the Greatwood?
Yeah, I've not really formed an opinion on it. I wouldn't be too far away from you on Jesse Evans. I thought that was possibly the best piece of form in the race. The Galway Hurdle, was it? Certainly Galway, wasn't it? If there's a horse that's different class, it's Adagio. Of course, he was a Grade 1 juvenile hurdler, finished second in 2 Grade 1s, didn't he, last season? But it's been quite easy to back. I wonder if he is going to be fully wound up for this after wind surgery. Maybe, they need it sometimes after wind surgery first time. The one I throw in is Cam Prond, who drops in trip. When Cam Prond won at Chepstow, that was quite a good time, and he finished the race really strongly. That was over 2.5. This is over 2. That's the only worry. He hadn't looked short of speed in the past, though. So, yeah, probably if I was betting now, I would back Cam Prond, but I will have a closer look at it.
Okay, a few to tinker with then in the Greatwood. You've got a price boost, David, and tell us about how many places we've got to offer.
Yeah, 5 places in this one. You mentioned Jesse Evans there. Advance Virgo's another Irish raider that's been very well backed. So if you do fancy the Irish runners here, it was 5-2 an Irish winner. It's now out to 7-2. And just a mention there, Adagio that Graeme mentioned. I mean, this horse was vying for favouritism a few days ago, and as Graeme said, is now out well at 11-1 there, and that's very unusual for a pipe runner. The glory days of Martin Pipe cleaning up at this meeting, you'd never have had a drifter like that.
No, but it is his seasonal reappearance, David, so it could just be a pipe opener.
Very good.
What a way to finish.
Absolutely. That's it. That's encore I'm hearing in the studio. But let's finish with the naps and a few tips as well. Tom Leach says he's on Cormier, and he also likes Jesse Evans. Jesse Evans and Bua Boy, says Helen Sheridan. And Hugh Masson says, love Cormier, backed him every start since last year's Greatwood, but he had no excuses last time. So I think he's abandoning him this time around. So a fantastic weekend at Cheltenham then. 1 day down, 2 to go. Let's find out what the nap of Saturday is. First off, from Graeme Rodway.
Mine's Unexpected Party in the 325 at Cheltenham on Saturday, isn't it? And I'll be having that party.
You will be.
Hopefully.
Yeah. If that one wins, it'll be sausage rolls all round. Tom, what's the nap?
My nap is, I'm going to get it over and done with in the first race. The horse against Milton Harrison's horse, which I forgot. Night Salute against Magistrato in the first race tomorrow.
Okay, very well. And I'll stick with Protectorat then in the big race tomorrow afternoon. That's my nap of the day for the Skeltons. David Stevens, what's yours?
Well, brilliant. It was going to be Knight Salute. Then I was going to change to Protectorate. So I'm going to have to go with Good Time Johnny.
Good Time Johnny it is then. That's I think we're all kind of in agreement that that's probably not the worst multiple in the world, those 4 selections. So good luck with your naps. Good luck to everyone at home with those picks as well. And this has been another edition of In the Know. Please gamble responsibly, of course. Again, it's going to be a long old winter, that's for sure. So do only bet what you can afford. And we will hopefully come back next week as well with some more winners for you over at Haydock. Thank you to Graeme. Thank you to Tom. Thank you to David. And most importantly, thank you to you at home for watching. This has been In the Know. Good night.